Hello, everyone. Welcome again and a very good evening to all of you. I am Manshi and I am part of business team at Zolve. And this is the seventh webinar we are organizing for Fall 2025 students. And today we have with us Sachi Mall. So before I give tell you more about her, let me give you an instance that last year in fall 2024, I think we have done a couple of webinars together, and students have reached out to me saying that, after they attended this session with Sachi and she helped him in framing his answers, he got his visa approved. So that is the kind of feedback we expect, right? That is the whole agenda of organizing a session like this, inviting panelists like Sachi and other ex visa officer, and giving you this session all for free, right? Because yeah, we want you to make your American dreams come true. We'll jump into the session, but before that, while everyone is here, you can see on the screen that something big is coming up. So any guesses, anything, any wild guess you want to make on what is coming up? I know I asked the same question, I think 10 minutes back, and Sharandeep answered that we are giving free flight ticket to USA. So anyone else? Trump is joining the call. Wow. Amazing. That's the goal. Trump should not come at on NDTV or any other news channel, but he should come on Zolve webinar to clarify all your queries. Green card for all MS students, right? Right. I think we should have a special tie-up with US government so that we can make all of these wishes come true. Yeah, the guesses were really wild. So let me jump into it. Ki what is coming up, right? Yeah. If you guys follow us on Instagram, you must have already known that we are launching this golden ticket to US. This is not scholarship. The Zolve Global Scholarship is different, but Zolve Golden Ticket to US is a different campaign that we have launched where we are giving prizes worth $50,000. So in this $50,000, your tuition fee plus your flight plus SIM, plus you'll also get some gadgets like MacBook, iPhone, etc. So more details will be revealed soon, but just to let you know that how to apply for this is just go to the Zolve app and make sure you upload your documents, right? And it will just increase the chances of winning this golden ticket. And make sure you follow us on Instagram, YouTube, because we will be revealing all the, how to apply, how to win, whatever, what is the rules, whatever. Every question we'll answer on our social media platform. So make sure you follow us there. We are launching this ticket on this very special event in Hyderabad on 15th of June. That will be an offline session where we will be telling you everything about the golden ticket. And there's a stand-up comedy happening there by Sayyid Bashar. He is really famous. So every one of you who is in Hyderabad must come for this session. It's absolutely free, but only for users who have signed up to Zolve. So any of you who is in Hyderabad next week must attend this session, right? I To attend this session, you'll need to fill up a form. I'll put the form link in the chat box. It's a simple form that you need to fill a few details, right? And you will receive the event invite there, right? So I can't wait to see all of you at the event. Before we jump into the session, a few things about Zolve to let you know who are we and how we help you in achieving your American dreams. So I just spoke about Golden Ticket. That is a separate thing, and we also have Zolve Global Scholarship worth $50,000. So this scholarship will be divided into 30 students based on need and merit, right? So do check out Zolve's scholarship platform to understand about the previous winners and also apply to it. The results will be announced on 31st of August. So make sure you apply beforehand to increase your chances of winning, right? So we also offer visa assistance, like we are doing visa webinar right now with ex-visa officers and visa experts who help you prepare for your F1 visa interview and crack your F1 visa interview In the current situation, people are not getting any slots. So, and I have heard from so many students that they are dependent on multiple random WhatsApp groups and Telegram groups to stay updated about this. Right? I don't think this is the right way. People are staying awake till 3 a.m. and 4 a.m. to know about the slot. So, which is why we have launched visa slot alerts, which is absolutely free, that you can access through Zolve platform, right? So how do you come to know about slot opening? Is you will get an email and WhatsApp notification the moment the slot will open. So you will be the first one to know about the slot opening from a very authentic source, right? So it's not like any random person is telling you, oh, slots are open, but it's actually not open, right? Other than that, we have flights, Zolve flights, where we have exclusive student fares, and the flight is by trusted airline. And if you come in a bulk of 4 or 5 people, we will negotiate the price with the airline and give you a discount on top of that, right? We also have US and Canada SIM. The delivery for the SIM card is absolutely free. And again, same thing. If you want a plan, if you want a discounted plan, come in a group, and we will be able to give you a discounted plan. So, most importantly, when your visa is approved, you need to apply for a Zolve credit card and a checking account. Why? Because I have spoken to a lot of students. They are using forex card, and the expenses in the initial few months, for first few months in the USA, are already on a higher side. So why do you want to pay a forex markup? So there the Zolve credit card plays a very important role, because you get a credit limit of $15,000. You can apply and get this card while you're in India. So you're all set to fly for the USA. You're all prepared. You can apply for this card without a social security number, right? Uh, and it will help you build your US credit score from the day one, from the moment you land in the US, right? We also have Zolve checking account, through which you can do safe international transaction, and there's no minimum balance that you need to keep, right? So all of these things you can do by downloading the Zolve banking app. I'll put the link in the chat box. You must download the app and check out everything on the Zolve. Once you land in the US, you will have international transfers, auto loans, healthcare, and rental insurance, all available on the Zolve app. I just spoke to you about the F1 visa slot alerts. This is absolutely free. If you take subscription from, say, check visa slots, etc., I think you'll have to pay $25 or $30, but we are availing this service to you for free. uh, you can avail this service through Zolve banking app. We also have Zolve visa folder that we are giving away. So to give you more details on the folder, I'll just play a quick video of what all is inside the folder, and then we'll jump into the session. Hi. This webinar with Zolve very recently. There they were talking about some visa best practices, and after the webinar, they sent over this folder. I wanted to share with you all. I'm really excited for you all to go over this, so let's unbox it. So the first thing that they've shared in the folder is this document tag. So it's essentially the entire list of documents that you need for your visa interview. They've covered your fee receipt, I-20, tax returns, essentially the entire gamut of documents that you carry with you on the day of your interview is captured here, and you can use these tags to mark those in your folder. So you know on your interview day where these documents are and it's easy for you to access them. Let's see what else is in it. They've also sent this visa survival kit, and it says your questions here. Let's open it up. The first thing I landed on is this gigantic poster, and when I open it, it's a visa to take off planner, which is essentially like a checklist of everything that you need for you to touch foot in the US. So your accommodation, your travel insurance, like it is, they try to put all of that together in a list for you so that you don't miss the bus on anything. Um, Outside of that, the visa kit also has
like a dollar bill. And essentially, the dollar bill talks about Zolve's scholarship, which is a $50,000 scholarship. And they shared all the details at the back of the bill. And you can go over this is the QR code to apply to the scholarship. They've also sent something called the visa interview flashcards. So essentially, they've put together an entire list of questions that would need for your visa interview. And when I went over these questions, I realized it covers the entire gamut. Like they have whether you have relatives in the US, what's your purpose for travel. So essentially, anything that you could potentially be asked on your interview, they've tried to cover for you. And not just that, they've tried to give you sample answers and tips from there and for you to ace the interview. Um, Beyond the items in the folder itself is very useful because, as you might know, the constant mandate for you to carry your transparent folder with you. And this is exactly that. So you can take this with you on the day of your folder, put your all your documents in this, and you're sorted. So I would highly recommend getting your hands on it ASAP.
All right. So, yeah, without any further ado, let's jump into the session. Yeah, Sachi, over to you.
Yeah, thanks, Manshi. Hi, guys. Good to have everyone here. So before we start, just to get a quick sense, of everybody's situation, how many of you have a visa appointment with you? Just type in a yes in the chat box. Those of you who already have an appointment. Okay, quite a few. All right, so not a lot of people, that means. Okay, people have refusal, fine. How many of you are waiting for appointments who are fresh? Fresh, that means you haven't given the appointment yet, but waiting. Okay, so majority of you are waiting. That's the consensus, I'm guessing. Okay, and how many of you have a refusal, prior refusal here? Just type in refusal, key in refusal. Okay, got it. All right. Okay, so fine. So I think some of you have an appointment, but majority of you are waiting, and quite a bit of you have a refusal as well. So let me just quickly put in all the facts that we have observed and kind of collated regarding the appointment slots, and then we can jump into the actual session. So, see, I think all of you know the situation. As of now, there's no appointment. But the one thing that we've observed is that the US portal is constantly down. I think you guys also have tried to log in, must have seen it, right? It's showing under maintenance, it's showing that it's down, people are not able to log in. This typically happens when there are some changes, happening at the back end. And I distinctly remember that the last time when they did the entire shift of the portal itself, this was the same situation. For quite some time, the system was down. So I feel that this is some sort of indication that some things are brewing, some things are expected to happen. And also from what we can sense, I don't think that at the beginning of June itself, they can cancel out the entire season, and not open anything. So my guess, or rather my opinion, is that slots will open, but some changes are going to happen. And probably today is 6th, right? So I feel probably within a week, we'll have more clarity on the exact situation. So as of now, I would say that just sit tight, focus on the prep, everything that we'll discuss today, focus on that. And as far as the appointment is concerned, just stay vigilant. You have, like Manshi said, you have Zol's visa slot. You also have our Instagram and, our YouTube where we constantly update, any opening or any major changes in the system. So follow 2 to 3 credible sources. Don't stress yourself with, just being all out and picking up every small piece of news. Follow 2 to 3 credible sources that you can trust and just stay vigilant. That's my opinion. And I think really in the next a week or so, we should have complete clarity on the situation. So yeah, having said that, let's get into the session. Manshi, I'm still not able to share my screen. It says multiple presenter is not allowed.
Uh, would you mind requesting again?
Yeah, I'll just do that. And guys, meanwhile, before we start, so this session is meant to be, like she said, interactive session. So the focus is to help you prepare, especially for those of you who have a refusal. I think it's really important to have a proper strategy this time, right? So that's the entire focus of the session. So for that to work, you need a pen and a paper, right? Because we're going to be framing answers. I want you to share your answers. So keep a pen and a paper handy, or if you want, if you like typing, then keep your phones or your tablet handy. And yeah, it's a slightly longer session. We will take, I think, at least, I'm guessing, an hour or maybe an hour and a half to complete everything. So just budget your time according to that. Somebody has asked about time, right? Yeah. So budget at least, I would say probably 1.5 hours to complete everything.
Uh, okay, I think you'll be able to do now.
Yep. Okay, great. So yes, let's get started. Universities, right? So this was also asked by the officers, that how did you choose the universities? Now, what you need to avoid doing here is do not mention any consultant, friend, senior, right? They want to know your process. How did you come up with it? And they don't want you to just take somebody else's opinion or somebody else's choice and just go with it. So you need to mention what all were your criteria. That what did you look at, right? Maybe you looked at the ranking of the university. Maybe you looked at scholarship. Maybe you looked at curriculum, and kind of show your filtering process, right? So I started with, let's say, top 15 universities in the US. And within that, I looked at which rankings could suit my profile, which curriculum had the subjects I wanted, which ones had an potential to give scholarship. Based on that, I filtered these 3 to 4 and have applied. So they're really looking for a process-oriented answer like this. Okay, so why did you choose the university? Then, of course, we had the main question, why this university? Now, what we observed for why this university this time is that they wanted a more personal answer. Like in the last 2 to 3 years, we have seen that why this university answer, even if people gave a lot of factual information, they were okay with it. But this time they didn't want factual details, in terms of student clubs or research centers or industry exposure. They didn't want any of that. They wanted a very personal answer as to what is just 1 or 2 things about the university that really attracted you, and what tilted your decision towards that university. So in case you have prepared a university answer which is more factual, right? I will show you a sample, but just tweak it around and make it a little bit more personalized, a little bit, crisper. And the last question, which was asked a lot this time, is what is your second choice? So people were asked to name the admits. And when they named the admits, they were asked, what was your second choice? Or what was your second option? And when they said whatever, they were asked to compare that, okay, compare your first and second. So when you compare, you can again use the same parameters, the same criteria, right? You could compare course, you could compare the course duration, could compare location, scholarships being there, not being there, you can compare. So comparison of the two universities again can be based on very similar criteria that you used to choose the universities, right? So how many universities did you apply to? How did you choose the university? Why this university? What was your second choice? And compare the two. These are 4 questions which all of you should be ready with for your interview. Now I'm going to show you some samples, and we can then take up some answers. So this is a sample for why this university. Again, we have a complete video that we had made last intake for why this university, and I feel the structure that we discussed is very valid even now, because this structure that we discussed focused a lot on personal, inputs. So do check out this video after the session. So here is a sample. Now the student has prepared 4 points. You don't have to use all the 4 points. It's just to give you an idea, right? So one point she said is, I like the program. It goes beyond traditional graphic and product design, encouraging me to think as an entrepreneur. Then the second point she prepared was that you can actually do prototyping, testing project. Then she found somebody very reputed. Notion is a big company, so she found somebody very reputed who was actually teaching one of the subjects. And then she had a scholarship, so she added that. So in the real interview, she was able to use, I think, just this one and this one, 2 points she was able to use. But from a prep perspective, it's good to have 3 to 4 points, right? Because you never know what you might require in the interview. So should we take up some sample answers for this? Why this university?
Sure. As
So
I have mentioned, yeah, go ahead, Sachi.
you can just mention the name of the university first and then tell me the answer. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyone who wants to participate, they'll have to raise their hand. Then only I'll be able to give you access to talk. And if you can switch on your camera and present yourself, that will be well and good.
There are people raising. Okay. I was just going to say that don't be shy because don't nothing to be, we're not looking for anything perfect. But yeah, there are people already raising. Yeah.
Yeah, and you will be able to polish your answer here, right? So that while you're sitting for your visa interview, you're all ready. All right. We have Anmol Prit. Yeah, Anmol Prit, you want to go ahead? Or Yashika, if you want to go ahead and share your answer.
Yes, ma'am, sure.
Sure, go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. Actually, I'm going to California State University, Sacramento for my bachelor's of chemistry.
Bachelor's in?
So, chemistry.
Bachelor's in chemistry.
Yes, ma'am.
All
So,
right.
actually, I chose this university in considering so many things. Actually, first thing which really attracted me was there was a MSFRU program, which is especially for undergrads, and I'm really impressed by that. That I can do the research and it's fully funded. And apart from that, the thing which really took my heart was that there was a SAC state for barium. Actually, I want to be an analytical chemist whose focus was just on herbs. So that was kind of very good point for me because there are 20,000 herbs which are already get researched on, and that would be great helpful for me. And apart from that, there's also Professor Dr. Claudia Gelosero. She's actually known in this field for years, and I'm really so excited and confident that definitely I should go for this university.
Okay. So this is Anmol Preet.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So Anmol Preet, like you have done good research, that's fine. One feedback I have is in the beginning, right? There's a lot of intro. There are so many points I liked. There were attractive options. Just remove all of that because many times we see visa officers don't have any patience, right? They just want you to get to the point first. So always answer what they're asking as soon as possible. So remove all the intro. The research point was good. You mentioned about undergrad specific research.
Yes.
That's fine. Second point, I did not understand. So you'll have to tell me again the second point. Third point about the professor, this might sound a little generic to them because see, like this student has used a professor in the sense by telling them that they work in a very reputed company and they're teaching them, right? So it kind of makes sense. But if we just mention any professor's name, it won't have much value. So either you pick somebody who has some significant contribution, okay, or
Okay.
replace the professor point with something about the course, like you've not touched upon the course in your answer, right? So
Yes.
you could look at course. At bachelor's level, course is more important because in US bachelor's, you're not restricted to just chemistry, right? You will be able to do a lot of other things. So something around that point you can bring in, okay, specific to this university. What was the second point? Can you just repeat that?
Yes, ma'am. Actually, in second point, I told that there was a Sacramento State herbarium in the university itself. And like as I want to be an analytical chemist whose focus was on herbs, so that was a plus point for me because there are 20,000 herbs which are already getting researched on, and I can just go there and also do my research there. So that's what I mentioned there.
Okay, access to herbs. That's what you're saying.
Yes, yes,
Okay, I think that should be fine. Yeah. So all in all, cut out any intro, go straight to the point, and I think replace the professor point with something else.
okay, ma'am. Thank you.
All right. Should we move to next question or do you want to?
Yeah, I think this we can take one more. This is like a bigger question, and then we can move to the next. Yeah.
Yashika, if you want to go ahead. Okay. Satvik. S- got it. I think people are not ready. Okay.
Guys, don't.
Who is ready with your answer, please raise your hands. Or otherwise, it's like really difficult for me to
Yes.
analyze if you're ready or not, right?
Yeah. And
Advait,
we
are
are
you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready with my answer. I can give a try.
go ahead.
Okay, so firstly, university name is University of Wisconsin Madison, and program is electrical and computer engineering, masters.
Okay.
Shall I start?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so I chose University of Wisconsin-Madison because firstly, it has a very reputed VLSI program in terms of the courses that are being taught and faculty reputation. I am particularly interested in working in the field of designing and architecting processors for artificial intelligence, which are known as AI accelerators. So there is a lab in the university called as Laboratory for Computing with Unconventional Technologies, which is doing some cutting edge research in this area. And that gives me an opportunity to pursue a project as well under professor in this lab, which will equip me with the necessary skills to build a career in this field.
Okay. So, what I would say is two things. The reputed VLSI program is vague, right? So quantify it. What do you mean by reputed? Is it ranked top 30 in the US, top 40 in the US?
Okay.
So quantify it, give specific numbers that, okay, the VLSI program is ranked top 20 or top 30 in the US. So,
Right.
it's a very detailed program. It has enough electives, enough research, right? The second point I feel is too long. You need to shorten it. Also, you need to reverse the order. Like the lab should come first,
Okay.
kind of explaining and then saying there's a lab, right? So start directly that there is a very unique lab called so and so. And this is helpful because I get to work on XYZ designs, which are the latest in VLSI domain.
Right.
So reverse order, crisp, make it crisp. And I think should prepare at least 2 more points about Madison, right? So think of any personal reason that you can give, or regarding VLSI, if they have any of these chapters,
If they
okay?
have any?
Any chapters, any, IEEE, any industry chapters, if they have. Because
Okay.
yeah, so that is helpful in VLSI courses because that means you will get to understand what's the new, latest in this field. So anything like that you can include. So prepare 2 more points at least. Okay.
And what can be this? So one is here, I didn't get the IEEE. Can you just quickly again repeat?
So VLSI, like IEEE is an organization, right? So
Yeah.
universities and universities have these chapters with IEEE wherein they'll come and teach you apart from the course. Like it's like something like a seminar, but a very specific domain seminar.
Okay.
See if the university has any of such tie-ups. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move to the next question in university. So yeah, what I was telling you, the second most asked question, how did you choose the university or how did you come to know? So I think here, if I just show the sample, I think that should be enough. So just wanted to show you that instead of saying my friend told me or consultant told me, you can mention that I did my own research. I wanted to apply to this ranking. Curriculum was my criteria. So I wanted maximum subjects in CS. And I looked for universities that had scholarship and interacted, easily or interacted transparently with me. So again, this list 3 to 4 criteria, it's not necessary you should have all in your answer, but this is just to give you a sample that when they ask you how did you choose the university or how did you come to know, it should be a process. It should have at least 2 to 3 steps. Like many students I've seen say that I did online research or they quote website names, right? But that is just the first step. It has to be after that. What else did you do? Okay. Anybody wants to try out this answer? How did you choose the university?
We have Latika and Suvijay. Latika and Suvijay, if you're interested, you can raise your hand. I can't see their hand raised. Okay. Sidra, if you want to share your answer.
No, sorry, actually, I had a general question in the sense for the first part. In case we have an admit from a university that is a tiff with the Trump administration, how do we go about answering that? Especially if there have been mass protests in that particular university.
You have an admit or you're going to that university?
When you have an admit from universities that don't go well with the Trump administration.
See, honestly, there are 2 ways to think about it. One is, like I said, they don't know all the admits you have unless you've received I-20. Okay, so this is one way that if this admit, omitting this admit is not really creating any dent in your ratio of how many universities you apply to admit, you can think of skipping it. Without an I-20, there is no way to track admits.
So there
Second,
is an I-20 from that particular university, then
you
what
have
does
an
one do?
If there's an I-20, I would say you have to be genuine, you have to declare it. Also, one thing to keep in mind is that what's happening at Trump administrative level, at embassy level is different. It's not so directly aligned. That just because Trump has a problem, the visa officers won't approve that university. It's not the case. We've had students get visas for Harvard, Columbia, all these universities in the last month itself. So it's not a direct trickle down that these universities are banned for visas as of now. So the situation as of now doesn't have any direct ban on these universities. Nothing is officially done. So if you have an I-20, I would say declare it. Go ahead and declare it.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So, Vijay, if you want to share your answer for this question.
Yeah, actually, I had just a doubt like my visa has gotten rejected only. It was yesterday only. So it's fine like if I share according to that, or you can share a review of my answers.
We'll take up questions in the end. Okay. We're just
Sure.
following, yeah, structure. Okay, let's move on. So the last most asked question in terms of university is what's your second choice, and compare the two admit. So we just have two samples for you. One compares it more from a course perspective. So the student had Rochester and UCSD and they were asked to compare. So he mentioned the difference in the curriculum, that UCSD had more of business and management, and also gave a logic to it that because I come from a business background, I wanted these subject, whereas Rochester had only one management subject and most of it was focused towards analytics. So this is one way you could compare purely from the academic perspective, and do remember to give the logic as to why you wanted that particular type of subjects. The second is to compare just at the university level, like the student was going for a bachelor. So she was asked to compare UTD and Nebraska. So she mentioned that UTD is a much bigger university, the volume is high. So, the ratios take a dip and you don't get that much attention in UTD. Whereas in Nebraska, it's a more smaller, like a more personalized approach to teaching. Also, she didn't have a scholarship in UTD, which at bachelor's level again plays a lot of importance. So she mentioned that. So if you're asked to compare your admits, you could take either of the two approach, compare from an academic perspective or from a university perspective. Anybody wants to share this answer of their two admits and comparing the two? Just this answer. If you have questions, we'll come in the end. Yeah.
Yeah, we should allow 2 minutes for them to frame their answers, right?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Also, if you want to share by this university in case anybody wants, we can do that also.
Yeah. I think Sanjeet has this question. Does visa officer know how many I-20s I've got?
The I-20 is a government issued document. So we don't want to omit any I-20. Okay. So let me put this very clearly. Any admit that you don't have, do not declare it. Right? If you don't have an admit, you cannot say I have an admit. No false information. Especially now they're being so strict, so stringent, right? If you have an I-20, you have to declare it. The only thing you can omit is the universities you have applied to. That's it, nothing else. Any university you have applied to, which you got an admit or didn't get, or did not receive the I-20, that is the only flexibility you have to omit, nothing else. Okay, so you have an I-20, have to declare. If you do not have the admit, you don't have it. You can't say I have an admit. Right?
Got it. Yeah, I think few people are ready to share their answer. Vijay, if you want to go ahead.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. I applied to North Dakota as well as West Virginia State University and Texas A&M. I got North Dakota and West Virginia State University. So can I answer for this question, ma'am?
Yes.
So, officer, I choose West Virginia over North Dakota State University because of some of the reasons. First one is due to the course curriculum. As I am from the plant sciences background, the course curriculum in West Virginia State University is highly relevant to my undergraduate and my internships after my undergraduation. And another thing is the style of the one of the professor in West Virginia State University, whose research focus on environmental microbiology, which is highly intrigued to me. So these 2 points caught my attention towards West Virginia State University other than North Dakota State University.
So, Vijayakant, like this answer is more of why this university. When you have to
Okay.
compare, you have to include some points of North Dakota also.
Okay.
Right. Like you mentioned what is good in this course, but you didn't mention what was the drawback of that course, right? Like if you see the sample, there is point about both the universities, right?
Okay.
So the way you're thinking is fine. You have to tweak it to include the other university. Like you said, the course here is more relevant, right? Instead of that, pick some subjects, like it's there in the sample, that in this university I had XYZ elective, but there the focus was more towards maybe some other aspect of the master's, right? And
Okay.
style of teaching and professor, I think this will be difficult to compare because every university will have their own way, right? So maybe you can make it again some factor, like what do you mean by style of teaching? Like, do they have more projects, or do they have a more of a group method of assignments rather than individual? So again, style of teaching, define it further. Go one step deeper. What do you mean by style of teaching?
Yeah,
Okay.
okay.
So you're thinking the right direction, but you have to bring in the comparison and go one step further in the same,
Yeah,
domain. Yeah.
sure, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Anybody else before we move to the next?
Divya, Shahid, Divya, go ahead.
Uh, yeah, Shachi. Actually, I had two questions. One is for the why this university. Can we mention, like, for example, my university, University of Washington, allows us to work on industry-sponsored projects from Amazon, Boeing. So, can we mention that we want to work on these capstones, or is that something we should avoid?
Capstone projects can be mentioned, but don't say work because
Okay.
the works that they hear, he might just register work and not your
Okay.
project.
Okay.
So
So,
just say that as part of the course, we have the capstone project, where we get to tie up with companies or where we get to work on company, sorry, not say work, where we get to, how do you put it? So you say it like this, that as part of the course, we have capstone projects, which gives us the opportunity to solve industry specific problems or the current problems of the industry.
okay, and second, when it comes to the comparison, my second best admit is North Carolina State University, and the reason I have for picking Washington over that is the university, the major research focus and the best. I feel like it's more better for VLSI design. So can I say this because I want to target a embedded computing background? So can I say this, or will it look like I didn't do my research very well? Well,
You can say this, but again, just like I was telling the student before, that where better research, how quantify it. Do they have
okay.
more labs? Do they have research centers?
Okay, more labs like courses and research centers are more inclined towards VLSI and on the semiconductor side, whereas my university focuses more on embedded computing and computational intelligence. Okay,
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
okay. Thank you so much.
All right. Should we move to the next part? So yeah, this is about university. The next most asked question was funding. Okay. Now in funding, there was, I think, a very important concept to understand, and this we saw a lot of students have confusion. See, the question, who is your sponsor, right? That's the main thing they ask. How are you funding your education? Who's your sponsor? Now, your answer needs to align with your I-20 and your DS-160 form, right? There shouldn't be a mismatch. That's number one. Number two, you're allowed to mention additional sources which is not there in your I-20 and DS-160 because DS-160 allows for only one sponsor. Okay. And I-20, after getting the I-20, you could have had a loan. Maybe you increased your funding, right? There could be other possibilities. So when you give the answer for why, how are you funding, the first part should align directly with what's there in the I-20 and DS-160. The second part, you can add on other sources. To give an example, let's say that your I-20 mentioned family funds. Okay. Your DS-160 should also say parents as the sponsor. Your answer should also start with that my parents are my sponsors. They have savings of XYZ. Then you add on the rest. Maybe you took a loan now. So you mentioned the education loan. And you can always mention assets and properties as a backup. That my parents also have assets and properties worth XYZ. Same thing reverse. Let's say that your I-20 mentioned personal funds or education loan. So you start with that I'm funding myself because I have my savings or I took a loan. Additionally, my parents are sponsoring me. As a backup, we have property. So we saw them kind of cross-checking, during the interview with what you're saying and what's in the document. And when it's aligned, it's easy for the officer to kind of tick off that, okay, funding is fine. Funding is okay and it's as per the I-20. So Everything starts with the I-20. Ensure your DS-160 form, first of all, is aligned with your I-20, and then, of course, the answer. And the second thing is that very clearly they wanted funding for the entire duration of the course, right? Like I-20 is just for 1 year, but visa officers are not looking at just 1 year. They wanted to understand your entire funding. So again, when you present the funding, you have to keep that in mind, that you have to tell them that how you're funding the entire duration, whether it's a 2-year program or a 4-year program, you need to have a plan for that. The second most asked question in funding was about loan, right? So people who had a loan were asked questions like rate of interest, repayment period. This is simple. You just have to look at the sanction letter, but just at that moment, you need to remember it, right? What is the rate of interest, repayment period? In fact, people were also asked what was the collateral you gave for this loan, right? That means what was the security that you gave to the bank for this loan. So scan through your sanction letter well and have these details ready. Then how will you repay the loan? This was also asked very frequently. What not to say is that my parents will repay it, or my father has properties that we can use to repay the loan. You have to avoid that because the repayment is on you. The whole point is that you are taking a loan because you're confident that this degree is going to get you a good job in the future. And you'll be able to earn well and you can repay the loan yourself. So it has to be completely connected to you and it has to be connected to your career plan. So in fact, how will you repay the loan is very similar to your future plan. So let's say that after this master's, I'm sure that I'll get role as a data engineer. So I should be saying that once I finish this program, I'll be able to get a good role as a data engineer. And my loan also gives me enough time. It gives me 10 years or 12 years and I can repay the loan myself within this period, right? So main thing they're checking is how confident are you of a future career and a suitable income level to be able to repay this loan. Then parents' income. This is also one of the common things they checked. Whenever they asked about the sponsor, the main thing they asked is how much income does your sponsor have? So now one thing is many times, your parents on paper might have low income. Like, for example, especially people who have, let's say, a business background, the ITR filing might be lesser, right, than the actual amount. But in the interview, you need to go as per the ITR, right? Everything has to be as per the proof. So in such situations, what you could do is two things. Either mention the net worth as well. Like, for example, if they ask what is the annual income of your sponsor, you obviously answer that the annual income of my father is XYZ, and add on that additionally they have net worth of XYZ. I also have education loan to kind of reduce the focus or reduce the burden on that annual income. Add on the other sources. The second way is that you could also mention additional sponsors if required. So let's say that father or parents' income is not very high. You could also mention that apart from my father, I have my uncle or my grandparent who has XYZ income. They can also fund me if required. So it's okay to add additional sources of funds to the person who's already existing in your I-20 or your DS-160. So if your parents' income is low, that's one of the factors of a rejection. So just be careful and supplement it either with the net worth, with education loan, or if required, with another sponsor. And of course, if you're adding another sponsor, you need to have their details, their documents, everything. Okay. And when I say low, the very, very crude benchmark is 8 to 10 lakhs. Okay. Anything 8 to 10 lakhs and above is like safe. But if it's below that, let's say the ITR is 4 lakhs, 5 lakhs, something around this figure, then that is when you need to be careful of these things. So yeah, so who's your sponsor? Do you have a loan? Details of the loan, how will you repay the loan? And focus on your parents' income, right? So these were the 4 things that they checked during funding. Funding, I think we don't need any, like, I'll show you the samples, but I think maybe you can take up doubts in funding. So very quickly, I'll just show you 2 samples. How are you funding? So this person did not have a loan. So he mentioned parents and he mentioned the income. He mentioned savings and clearly mentioned that it covers the entire 4 year plus property and then mentioned the scholarship. So scholarship can be highlighted either in the university answer or in funding. Anywhere once you highlight it, okay? Don't repeat it too many times in the interview. And this person had a loan. So they started with the loan because that's what the I-20 mentioned, and then mentioned savings and then property. And then clearly mentioned that I'll use a mix of both loan and savings. Okay. And then a sample answer for how will you repay is what I already told you, that I'll return, I'll get good roles, and I have a repayment period. So this is important part of the answer to show that you have enough time to repay this loan. Okay. Anybody has any specific doubts about funding or want to share an answer? One or two of you, maybe we can take up before we move on.
So should they mention their funds in dollar or in rupees to the visa officer?
So both are fine. You could either mention in INR or in dollar, but stick to the same currency throughout the answer. Like sometimes we see that the loan is mentioned in dollars and then the rest is in INR, right? Don't do that. Either keep everything in INR or everything in USD.
Next question will be if they have various source of funding and one of them is education loan, but I-20 only mentions education loan. So what should they do in that case?
Yeah, so this is what I just covered previously, that basically you can add on other sources of funding. What is there in the I-20 has to remain, and that should come first. Okay, keep that as your rule, that whatever is there in your I-20, obviously you have to say it, and that should come first. To that, you can add on. Okay, and that add on is what you have to take the proof for. So it could be parents, it could be additional sources of funding, right? And DS-160 also should align with your I-20. That's important because DS-160 has only one column. You can't enter multiple sponsors in DS-160. So that one field of DS-160 has to align with the I-20.
Got it. Yeah, anyone who wants to share an answer?
Yeah, I wanted to share.
Sure, Yashika, go ahead.
Yeah, so I will be making sure to say what my DS-160 and I-20 says. And my case is a bit different because my parents are not my sponsor. So my answer is that I am self-funding the I-20 amount through savings from my 5 years of work experience. And in addition, I have also an approved education loan from both Empower and Prodigy Finance as backup for my second year if needed.
Okay, it's a master's.
Yeah, master's program.
So what you're saying is that 1 year you have saving and for 1 year you have a loan.
Yes,
That's what
yes.
you're trying to say? Okay. All right. So the structure is fine. Just a few words. You said I-20 amount. Instead of I-20 amount, you can just say that I have enough savings from my work for 1 year of my education. Okay. And you can say that additionally, I have a loan which will cover me for the next year and mention only one loan. Choose which
Okay.
to go with. Mention one.
Can you suggest Empower or Prodigy, which is more well-known?
I'll have to say what is the rate of interest they've given you, right? So typically a loan with a lower rate of interest, right? Sometimes I think Empower loans sometimes have a very high rate of interest. So if it's like 14% and above, then you have to be a little careful with the loan. But yeah, typically the benchmark is obviously you should have a lower rate of interest and a longer repayment period, right? So just see as per those parameters. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Also, just to pitch in at this point of time, so Zolve has also started giving education loans. So we have partnered with 15 plus banks and NBFCs to give you education loan at a cheaper rate of interest than what is the market standard. We are also giving 100% off on the processing fee. So even you, if you have already got an education loan in a hurry or in an emergency situation, you can just talk to us. We'll connect you to a loan counselor and all that doubts like which bank or NBFC is better, which bank will give you a cheaper loan interest on your loan. You will be able to get all this at one roof, which is Zolt. So yeah, if you are interested, just DM me maybe and I'll connect you to one of our loan counselors. Yeah.
Loan, I think people have, sorry, I was just want to say one thing. So for loan, many people have the problem that they've applied, but they haven't got the sanction yet. So guys, if you have applied, you can still mention it. Okay. And you can say in the answer that I've applied for a loan. Keep it as it is. That I've applied for a loan, it is in process, or I've applied for a loan and it'll get sanctioned soon. So don't wait for the sanction letter. If loan is important in your funding structure, especially for those of you who are going for bachelor's, because typically parent savings, liquid savings at least never cover 4 years, right? So the loan becomes really important. So if you have applied, do go ahead and mention it.
Sure. We'll take one more answer for this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Shah,
Latika,
sorry.
Latika has been messaging here if it's related to funding.
Yeah. Latika, you'll have to raise your hand. I'm so sorry. I wasn't able to see you in the queue. Yeah. Go ahead, Latika.
Hello, ma'am. Uh,
Yeah.
I want to give my answer. My studies is funded by a mix of three sources. Firstly, I had received a scholarship of 50% of my tuition fees, And secondly, I had received an education loan of 81 lakhs. And my third source is from my parents who have savings and fixed deposit of 30 lakhs.
So what does your I-20 say other than scholarship?
Personal funds.
So the loan, you've shown the loan?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, then I think it should be fine. So scholarship, and then I have a loan of 81 lakhs and my parents have 30 lakh. One thing you could just start is that you can say as a backup, they have properties worth XYZ. Mention the property value also. Because the loan is heavier than the saving, right? Loan is bigger, quite big compared to the saving. So just supplement the saving by adding the property value.
Ma'am, I have a doubt. In my DS 160 form, in the section of the sponsor, like information about your trip, I have filled my father's name as a sponsor.
Okay.
Is it
See,
fine?
if you've already submitted the form, it's fine. It's not a very, I would say, I mean, obviously it should be aligned with I-20, but yeah, sometimes people do fill parents. In the interview, make sure to tell both.
What should I
Okay.
tell exactly?
Tell both, the way you told me today.
Okay.
Okay.
It
Tell the
won't be a
tell the education loan first, or do one thing. Don't start with the scholarship. Tell the loan first, tell your parents, then mention the scholarship so that he hears the parents quickly.
okay, okay, ma'am.
So loan, scholarship, parents, go in this order.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, loan, parents, scholarship, go in that order.
Loan
Scholarship.
parents scholarship. Okay, ma'am. Okay.
All
All
right,
right.
let's move to the next section, and that's the course. So this was the third most asked category of questions. That's the course. So in course, there were three questions. First is just which course are you going for? And usually this question came right in the beginning of the interview. When they started the interview, they just wanted to know which course are you going for or what do you plan to study in the US. One thing is they wanted a specialization. In many interviews, they asked also when the student just told the name of the course that what will you be specializing in or what will be the electives that you're picking. So when you tell your course, mention the domain, that is the specialization. For example, let's say that you're going for computer science. Within computer science, what exactly do you want to specialize in? Maybe you want to look at cybersecurity or AI, ML or software engineering, right? So that subdomain, mention it. Also keep in mind that not all courses will have specialization. Something like, let's say, a business analytics. Okay, this will not have a clear-cut specialization within the course. If that's the situation, you can name one or two advanced electives. So let's say I'm going for a master's in business analytics. In this, I want to focus on electives like XYZ. Name one or two advanced ones. Specialization is also required at bachelor's level. So even if you have a bachelor's course, they would still expect you to tell them what kind of major you're looking at, right? So let's say that I'm going for a bachelor's in biology, and in my third and fourth year, I want to pick subjects more towards biotech or molecular biology or biochemistry. So even at bachelor's level, scan through the third and fourth year subjects and see what exactly it is that you can pick. Okay. Then name of the courses were important. So they wanted to understand what type of subjects you had. So you need to go to the university website and scan through the entire curriculum. Most universities have the curriculum on the website. In case they don't have it, you can request the university to send you like a sample plan, okay, of your program, and scan through all the courses and have an idea of at least 2 to 3 compulsory courses, 2 to 3 electives or the specialization courses. And here is where the technical questions mostly come. So whatever subjects you're going to tell the officer, make sure that you know about it. Like if you're going to say AI, everything around AI, right? If you're going to say anything else, even in finance, let's say that you talk about derivatives or anything, he could pick up that word and ask you questions about it. So knowing your course and being very comfortable with the subjects, right? That will give you confidence. So definitely do that. Uh, Moving on, the third most asked question was why this course? And this is like, I feel the big question. So in the entire If an interview, I feel there are two long answers. One is why this university and one is this, why this course? And this is also asked. And one thing that we notice a lot is many people tell this answer as why US, like why do they want to go to the US? Or sometimes even why this university? So keep in mind that this is different, right? This is not, they're not asking why do you want to go to the US? They're not asking why you want to go to this university. They're asking why do you want to study this course? That means why do you want to do an MBA? Why do you want to do computer science? Why do you want to do analytics, right? So you need a separate answer for this. And this is a kind of template we follow, that we kind of create like a triangle, right? You need to have three parts of it. You need to have your background. What is it that gave you the idea to pursue this field? Then you need to talk about the course itself, and then the future, like how, with your background and this course, you're going to achieve that future goal or the objective that you want, right? So this way, what happens is officers are always looking for connections. They're always looking for logic. So when you connect to your background, they get that logic in your answer, that, okay, this person is in the similar domain. They're not just making a random decision. When you tell the course content, they understand that you have done proper research. You know exactly what you're going for. And when you tell your future, it kind of ties it back to India, because they understand that, okay, there is an opportunity existing for this particular career here in India. So by giving an answer in this way, you kind of check off a lot of things that they are like actually looking for in a student application. So I'll show you a sample, and then yeah, you can try and follow this template. Um, yeah. So let me start with, yeah, this easy one. Which course are you going for? So I just wanted to show you, even with bachelor's, you can have a specialization where this person mentioned software engineering and networking because it was there in the third and the fourth year, and also some bit of AI. AI was not a domain, but it had some subjects that she wanted to mention. So this is one way. And for masters, without a specialization. So something like business analytics, right, where there's no specialization, still you can mention that I want to study core analytics, advanced concepts like big data and AI, and some management. So looking at the electives, you can still sort of indicate to the officer what kind of specialization that you're looking at in this course. And for why this course, we have three samples. So depending on what you're going for, just pay attention to that. If it's bachelor's, you can look at this. So the structure that I told you, you will see here. So this is the background where we say that I have studied computer science in my school. I know programming languages. Then this is the course part that I get to specialize in software engineering and IT. And then this is the career, the future, that I can work with product-based companies. And you can even be specific that product-based companies in India could even do that, right? So this is one sample. This is a sample for masters. So this is slightly different. Like, this person had a business background. So he says that in my current role in family business, I handle data, I have to make decision. So this motivated me to study both the domains in depth. And this master's is a blend of that, and that will help me grow my family business. So again, you can see there's a background, there's the course part here, and then there's the future. And this is for a very different master's. It's master's in fine arts. So this person put it in a different way. He said that from my bachelor's and the 1 year that I worked, I am feeling a limitation, that I'm just limited to implementation of existing design. But if I have to take up roles towards actual strategy, decision making, owning the product, I need to learn XYZ concept, and which is there in the master's. So you could also structure it this way, that what is the current limitation you're facing and how this course overcomes that limitation, right? So yeah, and I feel this is an answer which takes time. Like, it'll take you some iterations to get it right, because it cannot be very long, yet it cannot be very short. So spend enough time for this, because I feel if they ask this question and you get it well, it's kind of like a clincher, your approval chances go pretty high. So yeah, I hope like at least some of you share the answers for this. So yeah, let's start. Whoever wants to share.
So, Sachi, Vijay is asking this question. So, why
Yeah.
this course and why this specialization? Both are same or different?
Yeah, they're similar. Why this course? Why this specialization? How will this course help you? Sometimes they'll say, you seem to have good experience. Why do you want to quit this job and study? So any why with respect to the course is the same. It's the same answer. Yeah.
So, typically, how long the answer should be? Like, they should spend a minute or less than a minute to answer these kind of questions.
So it's very difficult to give a time that, okay, talk for 1 minute, because it's an interview, right? So you have to kind of assess how that other person is. But I would say that 3 to 4 lines and 40 to 50 seconds is a very rough benchmark. Make sure you're not exceeding 50 seconds for sure. And also, it's not so short that you just finish it in 20 seconds when answer is done. So this is a rough kind of a guideline. But when you are in front of the officer and when you're answering questions, you will be able to assess how much you can talk. So you also have to kind of modulate your answer, as per the conversation that is happening. Yeah.
Yeah, while I'm just taking some of the questions and Sachi is answering them, you guys can frame this answer and raise your hand if you want to share this answer. Right. So, Hitesh, yeah, if you want to go ahead.
Hey, Shachi. Thank you for this webinar, firstly. This is my second master's that I'm applying for US, and it's actually a 1 year course. But in my I-20, it is given as 2 years. But this is a specialization course that architects do who are interested in in learning how to build high-rise and skyscrapers. So my first master was in Spain, which I did, and I came back and I'm kind of practicing by architecture by myself. But now I want to get expert and be a consultant in building of or designing of high rise and skyscrapers. So I this course is not offered anywhere in the world except for US, and also only one university. So that is why I've chosen this. So will there be any questions regarding this?
So, I mean, just to add something on this, I think Hitesh and Pooja here, both of them are doing their second masters, right? So, yeah, Pooja, whatever your confusion is, I think you should listen to the answer that she's going to give, and maybe it will be helpful for you as well. Yeah, Sachi.
Which university is this, Hitesh?
This is IIT Chicago, Illinois Institute of Technology, because the course was affiliated by Council of the council which governs this course. It is tie up with IIT, so that's the main reason it's offered here.
That's the main reason it's a.
It's offered there, not
Okay.
anywhere else,
Okay. Why are you saying nowhere else in the world it's offered?
because there
Master.
is no
You mean
course.
to say 1 year course is not offered or this master's is not offered?
This master's, not 1 year. This master's is not offered anywhere in the world.
So you're saying there's no master's in high-rise building architecture anywhere.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. See, if the question is why this course,
Mm,
okay. So for that, whenever you have a double master's, the logic is you did the first master's, the work that you did after that,
yeah.
that has to be the trigger for the second
Okay.
master's. Okay. So
Mm.
what was your first master's about?
My first master was general advanced architecture. So there we learn about how advanced tools that we want to use in any kind of buildings, not only specific particular for one kind of building, that we can be used in landscape or any kind of work. So those are just advanced tools that I learned from that. But now I'm
Got
going to
it.
want to specialize in this.
So what is the work you've done in high-rise building or skyscraper domain? Have you worked on anything?
No, like academically I work, but not in real world because I don't have knowledge because that requires knowledge that I need to use. So,
So see, there has to be some background,
mhm,
right, as to how you got interested into this.
okay.
And with a double master's, that background becomes even more important because they want to understand that, okay, you already did a master's and why you are specializing in one field and not anything else.
Mm,
So whatever background that is, even if it's academic in terms of projects,
mm,
internships that you've done, that will be important.
yeah,
So structure essentially will say that my previous education taught me the general tools of
yes,
designing, but the projects I worked on and the internships I did were for high-rise buildings or skyscrapers. But there I
okay,
felt limited that I couldn't, use all the knowledge or I couldn't design up to the standard that was
yeah,
required. And this is, I feel, a good area to focus on in the future, given the development that's happening everywhere. So
mm,
I want to further specialize in this particular domain and do this master's.
okay,
Okay. And the point that you mentioned about 1 year program, you could use
yes,
that justifying the university,
okay,
especially because if a double master's can always say that you were looking for a comprehensive shorter program so that you could focus on just the subjects that you
okay,
needed and get back to work quickly.
mm,
Okay. And if you're confident that nowhere else this program is offered, like I don't know, I haven't verified it. So if you're confident
mhm.
that nowhere else this program is offered, you could use it to justify why US.
Yeah, that's the true. Like I've done my research, so that's the reason. But no one believes it. But so will they actually believe if I say that?
See, believe is how you are saying. Like I cross question you, right? How confident are you? Are
Yeah,
you sure? Said yes, I am. So,
Yes. Yeah.
So
Okay.
yes, you can. And I-20 can mention a longer duration. That's fine because
Okay.
I-20 give extra time because in US there's no deadline, right?
Yes.
You can take more time. So I-20 accommodates that. But if the website mentions it,
Hmm.
that this course can be completed in 12 months, then yes, you can call it a one-year program.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right.
Anybody else want to
Take-
try? You
Yeah,
can take one more person.
sure. Mariam, if you wanna answer.
Hi, ma'am. I just recently got rejected for my.
Oops, sorry. Yeah, Mariam, please go ahead.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I recently got rejected on 2nd of June, and I'm going to University of Washington, Seattle for Masters of Public Health. She asked me a question that how my dental background is related to epidemiology and how it is going to help me. I tried to explain her for 2 minutes, but it seems that she wasn't interested or somehow I used some of the technical terms that she wasn't able to relate to what I was saying. So can you just please help me with it? Like how can I just say?
Tell us the answer you gave her so that we can just check. What did you exactly do?
So ma'am, just I don't remember it.
Vague, I mean, broadly. Just,
Okay, yeah,
need to-
briefly I'll just say that epidemiology helps us in on is epidemiology helps us on working on preventive measures. And we all know that dentist helps patients on one basis. So I wanted to work on a community background. So that is why I want to go to public health. And then she asked me how you changed your stream from public health, dental to public health. I said healthcare and public health are interrelated. And when COVID arrived, so epidemiologists were the one who were helping the dentist with treating the diseases, like for example, mucormycosis, which was caused post-COVID. So she was like, okay. And then I explained her everything. But then she said, okay, you just stop here and just tell me what all diseases will you treat with the help of this epidemiology. I said, I will be going in preventive measures on community level. So she said, so what all researches will you do? I told her that I will be working on periodontal diseases, gum diseases, and all the oral health diseases because oral health is a mirror image of overall health. What happens in our body, we are able to identify it by looking into our oral cavity. Like, for example, diabetes patients have a complaint of bad breath. That is one of the main reason why dental visits are so important. Then she asked me, you tell me about the diseases only. So I fumbled over there and then she rejected my visa.
Okay. So one thing that I've observed in all the answers that you've given, see, they are looking for specific background. That's exactly what was mentioned in that this here. That background is missing, Mariam. Like nowhere you have mentioned that you have done dental camps, you have done health drives, you have done checkups, you have taken patient data, you have analyzed data. What you're talking is from, it's not wrong, but it's from like a perspective of the domain. But where is you, like you in this, right? Your background. That's exactly what we were trying to tell here. That when they ask, what's your background, when she's asked, she's looking for your work. So she wanted you to say that, see, as I'm a dentist, but I've also done health checkups, I've also done drives, I've actually collected patient data, and I've used that data to further treat my patient. So that's the key thing I feel that, background means your background. She's looking that
Oh,
apart from the core clinical work, she's looking for work in public health. What
okay,
work
she
you did
was
in public
trying to
health.
ask me what have I done and what made me choose health
Yes.
care.
Yes. Also, one more thing, this should also have been in the DS-160 form. Okay.
Okay.
In the DS-160 form, the work roles, was it all clinical work roles?
Ma'am, I actually added my dental degree over there and my class
No, no,
12th result. And in
work
the work,
roles.
okay, so ma'am, I do not have any experience right now because I graduated in March 2025
Okay.
and directly after that I applied for my master's.
So see that is the reason because there's no background in the form also, right? If
Okay.
there's no experience, you could have included your internship. Maybe you did a rural stint in your internship.
Okay. So I haven't submitted my second DS 160. So do you suggest me adding my these roles in those education remark
Yeah,
area?
definitely. Definitely, and this needs a proper prep. So please do reach back for a proper prep, right? Like in a group setting, we cannot explain in detail how you need to do it. So
Okay.
the main feedback I have for you is your background is missing in the answer and the DS-160. So you need to fix that the next attempt.
Okay, ma'am. So how can I just contact you?
Yeah, we'll
Um,
get it in the in the end, yeah.
okay, thank you so much. I do have another question.
If it's a general question, let's just wait till the
Yeah,
end.
it's a general question only. So in my DS
Wait.
160,
Mariam, I'm sorry. So we'll take Q&A at the end of the session, right? And
Yeah.
if you want a one-on-one session with Sachi, you can
okay,
download the Zolve app and book it from there, right? We
okay,
have it in a discounted price at Zolve. So you just need to, it just quick. You'll get get an appointment in 24 hours, right? So yeah,
okay,
go
okay,
ahead. It comes with a small fee, right? So you
okay.
have to pay the fee and you'll get the appointment and you'll be able to ask all of your question in a dedicated 30 or 60-minute session, depending on what you take.
Okay, thank you so much for this opportunity.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you, Mariam.
Okay, so guys, yeah, so like you saw, course background, very important. So take care that right from the DS-160 form to your answers, you're aligning with the program that you're going for. Okay. All right. Fourth, technical questions. I already mentioned this, but I'll just touch upon quickly. When you're preparing any technical question, there are three things you need to have. One is obviously you should be able to explain. Okay. Let's say what is AI? You should be able to explain it. Second is you should have an example of AI or the technical term and avoid generic examples, chat GPT, self-driving cars, and then I think there are two, three more like this, right? Which are very overused. Avoid it and pick examples which are from your field. So like she was a dentist, right? So whatever examples she should give should be from a dental domain, right? If you're an architect, pick examples from your domain. So that way your examples will be unique and it'll also make sense. And third is current trends. What is the latest happening in that domain? You should know. So whenever you're preparing a technical question, make sure that all these three things are checked off. Okay, you're able to explain it. You have a recent example which is relevant to your field, and you know what is the latest happening or what is something new that is coming up in your domain, right? And where will technical questions come from? That also actually there are three sources. One is your undergrad or your past education. So your undergrad, past education, because they'll ask you, what did you study? And when you tell them what you studied, they can ask you technical questions from that. That's number one. Second is your work experience. So whatever work you've done, whatever points you've written in the DS-160 especially, those could be a source of technical questions. Third is the course in the US. So you will tell them about the course, you will tell them about specialization, what do you want to do? That could be the technical question. So scan all the three, your academics, your work experience, and the course in the US. Make a list of what are the possible topics. And for each topic, have all these three things done. Explaining it, having an example, and a current trend. If your interview is going well and they ask you a technical question and you fumble there, right, it kind of breaks the impression that the officer has about you. So if you get a technical question, it's really important to get it done, get it right. And sometimes you might get a technical question which you don't know, right? It can happen to anybody. Now, at that point of time, what do you do, right? So do not give a wrong answer. Don't guess. Okay, that's number one. What you should do is just answer whatever you know and tell the officer that this is all I know as of now, but I'm willing to learn. And when I go to the US, especially, I will be learning a lot more about this. So, for example, let's say that they ask something about Gen AI. You have no idea what Gen AI is. So, all you know is that, okay, it's something more advanced AI. So, you just tell the officer, I have heard this term and I know that it's an advanced form of AI, but I'm not really sure at this point of time, but I'm willing to learn and I will find out more about it when I go to the US. So this is better way of handling a unknown technical question than saying I don't know or giving a wrong answer. Okay. But obviously avoid this situation. I'm just telling you, just in case you get stuck, just use this as the hack. Okay. Uh, I won't ask you technical questions. Don't worry. Okay. In this mock. The last part is the academic and the work. I'll quickly touch upon this and I think then we can take up the doubts. So this was the fifth most asked areas, your academic and your work experience. So for many of us, the bachelors are like long over, right? Long back. So now is the time to kind of dig up again your bachelor courses, your subjects. and make sure that you have good understanding of what courses you had in your bachelor's, especially those which align with the master's. So your bachelor's, you might have studied 20, 30 subjects, right? Or even more, in fact. So you don't have to go through everything. You need like 4 to 5, which align best with the master's. So those subjects, know it well, and just have an understanding of what you studied. And final year project. This is very frequently asked by officers that, okay, explain your final year project. What did you do in the final year? So brush up that also, the final year project. Apart from that, the most common question asked in academics was, when did you graduate? Now here, treat it as your introduction. When did you graduate does not mean I graduated in 2024. Full stop, right? He can see that from your form. When did you graduate means you're telling a little bit more about yourself. So you can say that I graduated in 2024. I did bachelor's in computer science. I have 8.5 CGPA. Or you can mention that, okay, I did bachelor's in computer science where I studied XYZ subjects, and this is what I want to further specialize in my master's. So add a little bit more, because when the officer is asking when did you graduate, they usually ask it right in the beginning. So it's more like you're starting the interview, you're kind of initiating the conversation. Then academic performance, this is important. So very frequently they ask, how much did you score in your academics, or what is your CGPA? Now, if it is low, right, you need to have a reason. Why is it low? So let's say that your CGPA is less or you have backlogs. Do like a year-wise scan of your bachelor's and see which year was it low, or what was some particular event or something that happened during some time due to which your scores got pulled low. And when the officer asks you why is it less, right, you should be able to explain to him logically that, okay, maybe in the first 2 years, apart from academics, I was very active in a lot of extracurriculars. I've done XYZ things in the college. So it was a bit lower, but then later I have improved my scores in the last 2 years, or in the last year, I have better grades, right? So have a logical explanation ready. And if you look at year-wise trends and you notice any ups and downs, that could be a very, very easy way, I feel, of explaining low academic scores. If there are a lot of backlogs, again, that's something you need to be careful of. So same thing, see where the backlogs are, see what are the reasons that you could attribute. In general, I would say avoid reasons outside of you. Like, for example, many people say that something in my family happened, or it might be genuine, I agree, but the officers are looking at your reason, right? Why did you not do well? So whatever challenges you faced, pick that, and that you mention when you justify a low score. And the last thing is that low scores could be supplemented by something else that you did. So let's say that you have low score in academic, but you have really good experience. So you could transition to that point. So you can say that I had low score in my academics because I think during my academics, I was involved in so many things that I couldn't really concentrate on one academic subject. But post that, I have worked for 3 years, and this experience is really relevant to the program that I'm going for. So this is also another way of kind of bridging, low academic scores. So have a low CGPA, think of a justification. Could you justify from your academics? Could you justify from your work experience? Could you justify from any other achievement? Maybe you played sport, right? That could be another way of justifying it. Finally, a project I told you, and work experience. Same thing for the work experience also. It's really important that the work experience connect to the course. Again, it's not about falsifying things or giving any wrong information. It's just about presenting it in a way that it's aligning. Like, for example, as a dentist, you did both. You did clinical and you did rural camps. You did checkups. Just what you present, you highlight more of things that are aligning with your course, and the rest you can just trim it down, or you can keep it at a slightly lower level. So when you look at your work experience, just identify what is it that's aligning better and connect that. And just one point for people who have a lot of experience, like some of you might have worked for 8 years, 9 years. In that case, break it down time-wise. Look at the last 2 to 3 years of your experience. The last 2 to 3 years should align well with the course. And when you speak about your work experience, you start with that 2 to 3 years first. That's what you're highlighting. Because you won't be able to justify from 8 years or 9 years, right? He'll ask you, why did you wait for so long? So when you talk about your experience, think that, okay, the last 2 years or 3 years is what is the reason for doing the master. So connect that to everything else. Okay. Yeah, I think this is everything that I had to share. Yeah. So yeah, Before we go into that, anything about this domain that Manshi want to discuss or any answers?
I think there's a lot of question. I'll just go one by one. I think we have not covered about relatives in US, right?
Yeah. So if there are general questions, I'll just finish this and then we can take up
Sure.
the question.
I think most of them are general questions only
Okay.
about career gaps, convocation year, whatever, right?
Okay.
So yeah, we'll take it up. Any question related to academic and work experience, you can raise your hand. What I'll do is I'll just lower everyone's hand. If you want to particularly give an answer about this or have a question about academic and work experience, you can raise your hand. Yeah, not sure how to pronounce this, but yeah, Ballu, go ahead.
Good evening, ma'am. I am Balu, and I'm still pursuing my bachelor's in AI and ML, and I'm going to do masters in AI. Ma'am, I did 2 months internship. I didn't mention in the DS 160 form. Could I tell about that internship if they ask any for any question like why this course and any technical terms?
You can definitely. You can mention and why this course. Even when they ask final year project, you can tell your project and say that additionally I did an internship.
Okay,
You
ma'am.
know, at least mention one line about the internship. You can do that.
Ma'am, but I didn't mention it in the DS 160 form. Will it
Okay,
will be a problem? Okay,
it's
ma'am.
fine. The internships are not mandatory to mention in the
Okay, ma'am.
form. Like obviously you could have mentioned it, but yeah, if you have not, you can still use it. You
Because
know,
I did only 2 months of internship and my consultancy told that do not mention that internship in the DS161. So
internships are short only, na? Internships are meant to be 1 month, 2 months, 6 months,
yes, ma'am.
right?
Yes, ma'am.
So
Okay,
yeah,
ma'am.
if
Thank
you
you
have
so
been,
much, ma'am.
yeah.
All right, Sam, go ahead.
Uh, a very good evening, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes. Good evening. We can hear you.
So, ma'am, I have a doubt that in the year 2022, my visa got refused, F1 visa, and the course I selected was MBA. Post that, I did a post-graduation diploma and also gained a work experience of 3 years up till now. And I'm going for MS in quantitative finance. So, will I face any questions that why you changed this course? This is my first question I would ask, and how to answer that.
Okay. So, okay, I think we can take this up and then go to the whole pool of questions.
Yeah.
Correct, Manshi? Yeah. So, Sam, like you said, right? It's been 3 years since
Yes,
that.
ma'am.
You need to highlight that how your profile has changed in the last 3 years. So at that
Okay.
point of time in 22, maybe you needed an MBA because of whatever experience you had then. Now you need to focus that in the last 3 years, how the experience is towards finance or towards handling data or towards modeling or analysis, any of these domains which will align with the course, right? And that's
Right.
exactly what you tell the officer that in the last 3 years. So when you answer why this course, you should very clearly highlight the last 3 years timeline. Okay. So you
Got it.
say my work is in XYZ domain. You have to say in the last 3 years, my work is in XYZ domain. And with this done, now I feel the need for studying XYZ and then the future, the same way, the same structure. So the
Got it.
time has to be more defined. That's the thing you have to take care of. Yeah.
Okay. So, ma'am, there was no experience when I chose the MBA. I just took that course immediately after my bachelor's. So I have no
Well,
experience.
okay. So you could say like this, in the last 3 years, I've gained experience. And that
Got it.
experience has been in ABC. And then continue further.
Got it. Ma'am, one more. The last question was in 2022, whatever I answered, I have given the officer. Do they still have the answers? Or, for example, my if my parents
They
have
have,
changed their business, so
they have,
how to
unfortunately.
answer?
So unfortunately, everything's on record. Whatever you speak, whatever you write, okay, in the form, they will have everything. So we have seen people go back after 10, 15 years and they still had the record that you said this 10 years back. So whatever you told, you have to align with that. Obviously, things can change because it's 3 years. So maybe the profession can change slightly, or maybe new things can come into the
Got-
income, but you cannot deviate completely from that.
Okay, so I should take care of connecting all the things, right?
Yeah, definitely. Even, in fact, if you have the old form, you should pull out that old form and see what you've written in that form.
Sure. All right, ma'am. All right, ma'am. Thank you for your time, ma'am. Thank you.
So yeah, guys, so these were the 5 main domains: university, funding, course, technical, academic work experience, and the order is the order of, the importance in the current situation. So yeah, I hope you got like some idea about how to go about it. I think this will be uploaded on YouTube, so you can go through it again. If you want to look at the samples, you can look at it again. And anything else, you can reach back. So like Manshi said, I can help you with your form, your Q&A, your mock. So she will probably send you the details. So yeah, take a look. And for a more personalized preparation, you can reach out to me. So yes, and also content is where we kind of put in a lot of effort. So you'll see a lot of updated information on YouTube, Instagram. So make sure that you follow us on these. So yeah, Manshi, over to you. We can take up all the questions now.
But I would like to just take 5 minutes of everyone's time and ask you all to please just download these all app, sign up, and just check out, right? Check out the slot alert. Check out if you want to book a one-on-one session with Sachi. If once your visas are approved, you must order your SIM card. You must order a Zolve credit card with you, right? Um, and if you're looking for a flight, come in a group and we'll be able to negotiate with the airline in your behalf and give you a discount on top of that. And how many of you are in Hyderabad this month, or maybe on 15th of June to be particular, next weekend? If you're in Hyderabad, can you just let us know in the chat box. 15 June is the event, and we want all of you to be there, right? I'll put the link once again for you all to fill the form. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be chill. We'll get to meet each other, right? Discuss about the situation, discuss about the solutions. And I mean, Zolve team will be able to meet all of you there, and we'll also explain to you about the golden ticket, right? So you will have an added advantage there. So make sure you fill this form. I've just added on the chat box the form link. For the loan thing, the questions you have about the loan, or if you think you have gotten a loan at a very high rate of interest and you had to pay a lot of processing fee, you must reach out to me. I would be more than happy to connect you with one of our loan counselors that will help you get loan at a very cheap rate of interest. Plus, when you apply through Zolve, you're not charged any processing fee. So processing fee will be zero, right? So how will you reach out to me is by joining this WhatsApp group. We are a group of solid 900 people, and we discuss a lot of important things. Sometime there's a heated argument, right? That will happen in any community. People are happy to share the updates, etc. So yeah, uh, please be there and make sure you sign up to Zolve and you come. Let's meet on 15th of June in Hyderabad, Taj, Hyderabad, right? And yeah, looking forward to meeting all of you there. Now we'll move to general question answers. So, Sachi, how do you want to take it? Like, should we ask them to put it on chat, or should we ask them to ask directly from you?
Chat is better. Then you can read out the question quickly. We can move quicker then.
So
Yeah.
you guys can start putting your question in the chat box. I'll quickly take it up and Sachi will answer it. I won't be able to scroll up on the chat. So if you have a question, just put it here. Okay. Cool. Arman is asking, I'm going to Ball State for bachelor's in nursing. What is my specialization of this course? In I-20, it is written registered nurse / registered nursing. What will I answer?
So I-20 will not give you the specialization. Okay. So no I-20 mentions like what you should specialize within a course. Specialization all depends on the subject. So you need to open the curriculum, look at the third and the fourth year, because that's when you have the choice to pick electives, and then see within nursing, what is it that you can pick. Like, for example, once we had a student who wanted to focus on geriatric nursing, right? She wanted to focus on specifically for people in the old age, their care. So that could be one specialization. Similarly, you have pediatric nursing. So you have various, domains within nursing. So if you look at the course, third and fourth year, you'll be able to figure it out. Don't worry about it not being in the I-20. I-20 will not mention it.
So I think we have not covered about relatives in US, so there's a lot of questions on that front. So Swardhuni is asking, my sister has been in US for the past 10 years. She's currently working there and she has a family there. Will this affect my interview? She's on work visa.
So, see, many people have siblings in the US. It's not a direct reason for rejection. If there are too many linkages to the sibling, for example, you are going to the same location where the sibling is there and you don't even have other admits, right? So, this type of situation is tricky. But if you are not so directly linked with the sibling in terms of location or funding for the education, then it's fine. It's not the point to worry. They will be focusing on your profile more. So only if you don't have any other admits, you have only one admit, and that is also in the same location as your sibling, that's when it can get a little tricky, not otherwise.
But what if the sister is in same city?
Yes, if the sister is in the same city, then your justification for why one admit and why this university both need to be really strong. So you need to have very clear points as to what was the criteria, how it was meeting it, right? And why this university is the best choice for you. So those answers will have to be strengthened really well.
Got it. So Ashutosh has this question. I have 6 years of experience and visa officer asks, why not after working for 6 years? Okay. Why now after working for 6 years? I told him that I want to develop my technical knowledge, deep learning, and understanding in bridge and tunnel engineering. Um, and this degree helped me get the job in XYZ company as a senior post.
So this is the last point that I mentioned, that when you have a lot of experience, right, you cannot justify a master's from 6 years. So you have to break up the 6 years into, let's say, two parts, the last 2 years and the first 4 years. And when you justify, your answer has to come from the last 2 years or the last 2 to 3 years. So ideally, it should have said that I have been working, but from the last 2 years, I'm doing something different. Or from the last 2 years, I'm involved in XYZ. This domain is what I'm going to further specialize in the master's. Earlier, my work was not in this field, or earlier my work was, in a more simpler domain. So I did not need the master's then, right? So break up your experience, and 2 to 3 years is the ideal timeline to justify a master's. So align us for that.
Got it. Any sample answer would you like to give for people whose relatives are there and how can they justify it?
So see, sample answer as in it depends on the question what they're asking. Like you answer as per that. Don't have to justify yourself. If suppose if they're just asking, do you have a sibling in the US? It can be just a yes or no question answer, right? That yes, I have a sibling. So just answer what they're asking. Don't give too much information yourself. Where is your sibling? Mention. Which visa? Mention. Only if they ask that are you going to this location because of your sibling? Then you justify, and then you're going to tell the officer that actually I did my research and this university is giving me ABC, which was my requirement, so I opted for it. And additionally, my sister being there was an additional source of comfort for my parents and for me. You cannot deny that, but that cannot be the main reason. You did your research, it met all the criteria, and then say that additionally that was also the comfort for them.
But would they assume that, she's gonna stay there? So whatever. The negative assumptions can be there, right?
See, now that's a fact, right? You are going to the same location where your sibling is, so you cannot deny it. But what you can do is strengthen your logic of choosing that university.
Yeah.
Both can coexist, basically.
Yeah.
That's the picture. Because if you try to deny that I did not go there, I did not look at my sister at all, that's not believable, right? He's not going to buy it. But you can show that both can coexist. I did my research, I got everything. Plus, I had this comfort, and especially for people going for bachelor's, maybe the parent feels more comfortable if the sibling is, and they understand that. So I would say 70% your criteria, 30%, or rather, let's say 80% your criteria, 20% a personal reason. That is your sibling being there. And definitely funding is more in your control. So don't link funding to your sibling. That is something you should definitely avoid. Even like if your sibling is working, you should have enough funds of your own on paper on I-20. So that's one thing that's totally in your control. And officer asks also that is your sibling going to support you? The answer has to be no. I have my own savings, I have my own loan, so I will take care of all the expenses. Yeah.
Got it. Isha has this question. I think we have already covered it, that you can omit saying the number of universities. you applied for, but you should not hide the I-20s you have received. Is that right?
Yeah, I think let me just clarify this again. So I-20s you have received, cannot hide it. Admits that you don't have, cannot mention it. Okay. What you can do is only one thing, that you can trim the list of universities you've applied to. Okay. That's what is there in your control. And obviously, subsequently, the rejects, you can trim that. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Sakshi has this next question about loan. Is a high education loan of 80 lakh but additional family saving 50 lakh sufficient? Specifically, if our parents have lower incomes, how do we mention their income? Can we mention the total net worth instead of individual income?
So for the first question, is it sufficient? We have to see the I-20. Without seeing I-20, we don't know if the funding is sufficient. But for income, yes, like I mentioned in one of the points in the presentation, that if your income is low, you can combine the incomes of parents. That definitely you can do. Even if they ask father, you can say that combined income of my parents is XYZ. And you can supplement it with the net worth, that additionally they have properties or net worth XYZ. And if the officer is letting you talk and you have a loan, you can even add the loan, that I also have a loan, to show that you're not just dependent on your parents, you have a loan as well.
Got it. So Sam has this question. He says, I have 9 admits and I have one I-20. How should I frame answer regarding it? Should I mention all admits for or pick up 4 best universities?
What are the admits?
So he has mentioned he has total 9. So
Okay,
should he mention all of them in the I-20 or pick best 4?
9 admits.
Yeah, admits is what he has mentioned.
Okay. So if it's a bachelor's program, it's okay to have a lot of admits because that's normal. Bachelor's level, you have to apply to a lot of universities. If it's master's level, 9 is a lot, so you can trim the list. And like again, like we discussed, the I-20s you have to mention.
Yeah. So Lizanne is asking, I am pivoting. My bachelor's was in computer engineering, and I am now planning to pursue my master's in finance. What kind of questions can I get?
Bachelor's was in computer engineering or master's?
Bachelor's in computer engineering, and now I am planning to pursue my master's in finance.
So you have to look at the experience for this. Okay. So if you did a bachelor's, then what did you work on, right? Did your work involve working in finance domain, or did it involve handling any finance but related projects? So that work has to link to the master's. So in general, it should never look like a switch. They don't like any sudden switch or change. They like things to be aligned. So from your bachelor's, also think what you could align. Maybe the tech part of your bachelor's, like probably you studied how to handle data, basics of machine learning. That is still useful in the master's. So that part of your bachelor's can align with the master's. And then your work should be in the finance domain. So the domain of your work can align with the master's domain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got it. Saurav has this question. He says, my visa was cancelled due to misrepresentation of OPT employment after master's, and now after 2 years, I'm applying for PhD course. Will I face any trouble on approval?
See, any visa cancellation is a big thing. So yes, it can be asked. Um, we don't know the exact details, so I won't be able to tell you how serious it is or not. But yeah, you should be prepared that what circumstances led to the cancellation, what did you do after that, and why you want to study again,
Yeah.
right? So yeah, it will come up. Yeah.
Okay. Palash is asking, ma'am, I switched my career from mechanical to business analyst. Even my course is master's in business analytics. For this, right now, I'm pursuing certified course in BA from Boston Institute of Analytics. So, how can I justify myself in front of visa officer?
So I don't know how long is your experience, but if the experience is more than 1.5 years, that's enough to justify. Like you could focus on the experience. And when they ask why this course, the experience leads to the master's. The one thing that you have to be prepared is, why did you switch from mechanical to analytics? I think that's more trickier. So that part you'll have to think, that how, while doing mechanical, maybe you attended some kind of seminars or some talks in your college, which told you about these job opportunities and you found it interesting, so you started working there. So that is more important. From analytics to analytics is easy to justify because you can use your experience to explain the same.
Yeah. I think Sakit has a really interesting question. He says, my brother and me belongs to same university and he is pursuing his master's. What could I answer in that situation?
Brother is still studying, that means.
Yeah.
So this is a very similar situation, right? Like same thing, that which university, uh, like your criterias have to be different, your brother's criterias have to be different, and maybe the course is different. So if the course is different, you focus more on your course, how this course has, these advantages over the university. And if he has other admits, I don't know if he's mentioned, if he has other admits, then he should put it in a way that I had all these admits. But out of that, I chose this because it met my criteria. Brother being there or not there was not the factor.
Yeah.
Okay. So that way he'll have to put it, essentially.
Meet is asking this question. During my bachelor's, I've done 3 internships, 2 summer internships, and one in my last semester. So, should I include this internship and be specific? The summer internship was 1 month, and the last one was 6 months. So, he did 2 internship. One was for 1 month, and second was for 6 months. So, should he mention about it?
In the form or in the answer?
Even
Or
I
both?
am confused because
Okay.
he hasn't
So let me tell you for
mentioned.
both. So see, if you don't have work experience, if you have a gap, let's say, right? In that case, yes, definitely mention the internship in the form, in the DS 160. And in the description, clearly mention that I worked as an intern, right? So that you are also like putting it across transparently. If you have experience, there's no real gap, internships can be skipped. Okay. The third situation is you were working, you quit, now there's a gap. Again, to cover that gap, if you have done internship, then also you should mention it in the DS 160. And in the answer, you can include internship as part of your experience, bucket itself. So when you're saying the answer, you don't have to specifically say I intern. You can just say that I worked in XYZ domain where I had these challenges or I realized XYZ. So yes, it can be included in the answer definitely. For DS 160, you take a call on your profile. If any significant gaps have to be bridged, then mention the internship. Otherwise, you can skip it. And I think, without saying that, you should have a proof. Don't mention any internship for which you don't have any proper proof. Okay.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of questions on when the visa slot will open.
Like, I wish I had an answer. So, like I told you in the beginning, I think there are some things definitely happening because the way the website is going down, and then every time you log in, it's showing a kind of different interface sometimes. So, I think all these are indications that some changes are definitely happening in the system. So let's wait and watch for a week.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
So there was this question on our WhatsApp community, say there's question every day that when visa slot will open. So my answer is I wish I had a contact with the US government and confirm this to you that when will the visa slot open, but we can just have assumptions about the situations, right?
Yeah.
So
And I think, like we discussed, have 2 to 3 credible sources that you follow. Don't go berserk in, every
exactly.
notification, everything,
Yeah.
because there's also a lot of rumors, a lot of false information floating around. So follow 2 to 3 credible sources and just keep track. Be alert.
Which is why we really, recommend people to apply for the Zolve Slot Alert service. It's absolutely free and it's the most authentic source you'll have for free. So, yeah. Okay. Vivek is asking how to justify gap from previous rejection, which was in November 24. Was upskilling in tech, was upskilling in tech as I come from BBA background for UG. I
He
think he
was
has
upskilling.
done
He was doing courses.
he has done
Okay.
BBA in for undergrad. Then he got
Yeah.
rejected, and meanwhile he was upskilling.
See, I think the length of the gap will matter. If you are going to go for this fall itself, then okay, just showing some courses is enough because it'll be about a 6 month gap. But let's say that you don't go this fall and you get the slot next intake or the gap becomes 1 year, then just the courses will not be enough. You should look at other things like some kind of part-time jobs or internships or even in fact proper work experience.
Yeah.
So for now, yes, courses and projects would be enough. But if the gap increases, then you need to do something more here.
Okay, we'll take last few questions, right? Manpreet is asking, I'm going to pursue my bachelor's in computer and information science at University of Kansas. I got refused my USFN visa on 27 May 2025, possibly due to a misunderstanding. I told the visa officer I received a $64,000 scholarship, but my I-20 only shows $16,000, and I didn't clearly explain that 64,000 is total of 4 years. What should I do now to fix this? How should I prepare for the next interview? And what should I write in my refusal section of the new DS-160 form?
Uh, Not sure if I caught everything, honestly.
Okay.
Uh,
So he got refused on 27th May.
yeah, that I
I
missed.
think the visa officer got confused when I think they assumed that his I-20 only had a funding mention of $16,000, but he received a scholarship of $64,000.
That was not in the I-20.
That was not in I-20. I-20 only mentioned 16,000.
Okay. See,
And
yeah, sorry.
he couldn't mention that 64,000 is total of 4 years. I think he got funded for all 4 years. Even I am really confused on this.
See, 16,000. Okay, I got the message here.
Yeah.
60, see, um, actually the scholarship is 16,000 only. You can't mention for all 4 years. They are looking per year, right? So the scholarship is 64,000 for 4 years. If you take from that logic, then even the rest of the funds and the expenses also you should include for 4 years, right? So guys, to avoid this confusion in scholarship, always mention scholarship as a percentage of your tuition fee. Okay, absolute numbers of scholarship will lead to confusions like this. So calculate the percentage that, like how in the samples we were showing you, right? That I have a scholarship of 20%, 30%. So take the scholarship amount divided by the tuition fee of your I-20, that percentage you mentioned. So that is a clearer picture that, okay, 20% of my course is funded by the scholarship. And obviously that 20% applies to all the 4 years. So rather than saying 16,000, which he wouldn't have understood in maybe absolute sense, if you mention it as a percentage, that'll be
Yeah.
easier for the officer. So do that next time. And in the refusal section, we don't know the entire experience. So we can't say what exactly you have to write. But regarding this particular point, can be written that I didn't explain my scholarship and my funding clearly to the officer. That could be one line written about this point. But obviously the rest we have to see what else has happened in the interview.
Got it. Sanjeet is asking, ma'am, I applied to University of Arizona and I have got I-20, but my consultant applied for a community college, which he was indeed to apply for someone else. I have emailed the college to not issue I-20, but in case, let's just say, what if they issue I-20? Then what should I do in visa interview? Will they know I have two I-20 from community college?
See, this is a bit of a tricky situation. Even if they issue I-20, you can ask them to withdraw your application, cancel the service. Once the service itself is cancelled, then it's no longer valid. Okay, because if an I-20 is issued and you don't say it in the interview, and because it's a government document, if it most likely they don't do background check to this extent, but what if?
Yeah.
Then you're stuck in a tricky situation. So if I-20 has been issued, I would suggest talking to them, getting that withdrawn, getting that service cancelled. Okay, of that I-20. Do that. And then not mention it in the interview. But if it's an active I-20, then it's like if you're not declaring it, then you're hiding information.
Hmm. Cool. Last two questions we'll take. So Navjeet is asking, I'm going for Masters in Human Resource Management at Northeastern University, Boston, with 10-month internship in HR and 8 months job as HR executive. Is it possible? Is it a positive note? I did bachelor's in business administration 2023 with 72.7%.
Yeah, I think she means to say is the profile okay. That's what she's asking. So bachelor's seems to be aligned. Experience is about 18 months, including internship. And now it is a MBA or a master's?
Uh, Masters in Human Resource Management.
Okay. I mean, things are aligned, yes, if that's the question. The bachelor's, the experience, and the master's. So yeah, from that perspective, it's fine. But the same way, to justify the master's, you still have to look at your background, the experience. Okay, because in HR, if you've already done so much, what new do you want in the master's, right? So that she'll have to look at the electives and then see what has to be done.
Got it. Last question we'll take from Sayali, who's asking the visa officer kept my passport and temporarily refused my visa under 221G for administrative processing, saying they had respond in 7 days. They would respond in 7 days. They wanted to review my background and travel history as I had visited the US on a B1/B2 visa for work with my Indian employer. Any idea what to expect or how long it might take?
So 221Gs are getting resolved quite quickly now. And yes, background checks have slightly gone up also, actually, especially when there's any past association with the US. It could be US travel, it could be any visa rejection, or it could be any change in visa. Let's say you hold one visa and you're changing to the other. So, what can you expect is that if at all they want more information, they can reach out to you. Okay. They can reach out to you via email, sometimes they even call, or sometimes, they send you a form to fill and give it to them. So, you should just be alert, keep track of the email ID which you gave officially in the portal, and obviously the number that you have declared, and see if you get any information, and keep checking the status also. From refused, if it moves to issued, it'll move to approved and then issued. That means the process is completed, the background check. Yeah. And you can also ask them the status. So after 10 to 12 working days, you can, in case that nothing has happened, you can actually email the consulate and even check with them what's the status of the application, and they'll also be able to tell you where exactly it is.
Got it. Arman and I think many of the students are asking how to book a one-on-one session with you. So you need to download the Zolve app, go to stores, go to expert help section, and there you will see the services listed by various expert. You will see Sachi's services also there. You need to click on it, pay the fee, and within 24 hours, Sachi's team will get back to you, and you will have a session scheduled with her, a dedicated 30 or 60 minutes session depending on what you have chosen for. Okay, so yeah, I think that's all for today. It was a pretty informative.
Actually, just one thing, sorry.
Sure.
Sorry to interrupt you. So this is the QR code we had made for this PPT. So people who want this PPT can just scan this QR code. So guys who are still here, and yeah, it'll take you to a link. So just mention this and we'll be able to send you. So in case you want the sample answers, or you want the templates that we have shared, just mention this and we'll send it to you. Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
We'll spend 2 minutes so that everyone can we just present it again? We'll
Yeah,
just
yeah, sure.
give everyone a minute to scan the QR code. All right. I hope every one of you have already scanned the QR and requested for the PPT, right? Just a last note for today, everyone who is in Hyderabad on 15th of June, they must attend this event happening at Taj Deccan in Hyderabad. We'll give more details on how to apply for golden ticket, which is prize worth $50,000, which will cover your tuition fee, your flight, SIM card, and obviously the gadgets you'll need while you're in US. So scan this QR code, download the Zolve app,